This is Coco. You may be wondering why she's doing the happy dance. Well, let me tell you. She recently left her job without a single plan, handed in a resignation letter, had the awkward meetings, did a notice period, and now she's free. I don't know about you, but I'll do the happy dance too. But I wonder, what's next? Okay, so it's time to discuss what to do after you quit your job without any plans. Honestly, I made a video. If you haven't watched it yet, I made a video about I left my job without any plans, and you guys loved that video because that's like the video that I have on my channel that I've got the most comment on and like the best response on, and like people messaging saying, yes, I'm about to leave my job is toxic, I'm leaving, and it just makes me so happy. So thank you so much for each and everybody that left a comment on that video and like engage with it. I appreciate you guys. So I've decided to do a follow-up video on what to do after you quit a job. And this is not for people that have like a job secured. Maybe you do, that's great. But this is for people that actually just left their job and didn't have a plan after. If you want to know what to do after you leave your job without a plan, keep watching because there's some good stuff in this. Just before we proceed, I just want you to know that there's no point at this stage or throughout the stage of thinking of leaving your job, putting in a resignation, actually leaving your job, that you will not be navigating all of this through fear. There will be fear, you'll be scared, you will be scared the whole time. Even when you've left your job, even when you've left your job and you're like, yes, I finally left and I feel relieved and it feels like it's making sense, you are still navigating from a space of fear because you have left without any plan. So don't ever think, oh, once you put out that resignation and you leave your job, you're just going to be floating on air and just happy the whole time. You will be scared, probably even more terrified than before you left your job. So just FYI. So the first thing to do is, I would advise you to do is take a second to reflect on what you just did. You just put in resignation and left a job without a plan. That's what you did. Not many people can do that. You've just taken a massive risk for yourself, for your mental health. You've taken a decision for yourself. So I need you to take a second and pause and reflect on that and celebrate that, because not many people can do that. Not many people can leave a job without a plan, without another job lined up. So if you've done that, or if you're thinking of doing that, I need you to take a second at the beginning after you've left your job to literally reflect on what you've just done and celebrate it. The second thing I would advise you to do is actually take a break, because sometimes, again, because you're navigating from a space of fear, because you don't have a gig next, you don't know when you're going to get a job, you don't know anything. And what I did was like just panic and wanted to like find a job quickly, and I'm like, oh my god, what if I don't? And I wish I really took the time to take a proper break. You know what I mean? I did take a break, which I needed to anyway. I didn't have a choice. But I wish I allowed myself mentally to say, I want to take a break mentally from like thinking about job, worrying about work, worrying about the future. Just let me take a second to pause and like enjoy the space. So take a break. See your friends, see your family, go watch a movie. That thing that you wanted to do but didn't have time to do, go and do it. Take a vacation if you have money. Remember, we saved up some money that's allowed us to be able to do this kind of things, or like that's prepped us for this moment. So you have some money stacked up, so it's okay. So take a break. If you've got more than enough, you can even take a vacation. Just take an actual break and pause for a second. If you've been waking up at 6 o'clock every day for your job, for the life of me, stay in bed and sleep till 1 o'clock. Who cares? Sleep till whenever you're ready to get out of bed. If you want to spend a whole day in bed because you can, absolutely do that. All I'm saying is, whatever that means to you, whatever taking a break means to you, take that break and absolutely enjoy it. This third point is very important because as much as now you've got so much time on your hands, there's still a part of us that requires some kind of routine. And that's why you have to have a self-care routine. Self-care routine, because again, you're navigating from a space of fear, and in order for you not to slip into depression, which actually kind of happened to me a little part of like my journey into like before I found a gig. I was really worried. I was anxious. I was so anxious. In order for you not to like really slip into like depression or like be constantly anxious about what's going to happen, you need a self-care routine. And what that means is really tapping into routine for your mental, for your physical, and your social. Those three needs to be in place, so that way there's some kind of the structure, this kind of structure, and you're still taking care of yourself. I think that's the most important part. It's like you're taking care of yourself. Otherwise, you are going to slip into anxiety, you're going to slip into depression, and it's just going to be a mess. So in terms of your physical, no one is you don't even have to go to a gym if you're not a gym person. Go out and take a walk. The worst thing you want to do is have all this time and just be at home. So probably at least once a day, go out, take a walk, go sit in the park, do something that allows you to be physically active. The next one is your mental health. Whatever that looks like for you, you know yourself, you know how you navigate, you know how you help yourself get out of like a mental space, a mental situation, whether it's meditating, whether it's praying, and whether it's connecting with someone and talking to someone, whatever that looks like. Take care of your mental health, because honestly, if you don't do that, you would slip into something that it's just going to be worse. And the third one is your social health. Go out. Please go out. Go out and see your friends. Go out and see your family. Because sometimes, because you've left your job and now you've got this money, you're like, I don't want to blow my money, so I'm just going to stay at home. I don't know when next I'm going to get money. Sometimes you just stay at home and you don't get social. I know I did that out of fear of like, I don't want to spend all my money. But it is very essential for you to meet people and be around people. So that way, you know, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to go to like fancy places that you would probably go to when you had a lot of money coming in. Now you know you don't have that much money. You can go into the park. You can go to the park with your friend and like grab something small, but just allow yourself to be social and be around people that you love and they love you. So please create a self-care routine for yourself. And in the long run, honestly, it's probably the most important point in this, because it would really make a difference through this journey. The fourth thing I would do is make a plan and reflect. Reflect on the reason why you left your previous gig. It could be because the culture doesn't align with yours. It could be a toxic environment. You wanted like development and room for progression. Whatever reason you left that gig, reflect on that and prioritize that in the next gig you're looking for. I know that I left my other job because there was no room for progression. I didn't feel valued as an employee, and the work environment wasn't great. It felt a little bit toxic. So in my next gig, I was very intentional about like a company that is like, that culture is a priority for them, how they take care of their employees is a priority for them, and that's why that was my biggest priority. And also a role that would allow me to progress, like a company that also values like development and progression. And so those were the things I was looking for before I could ever, like, if I do like a review. And the best way to know this as well is, I don't know if you guys know Glassdoor. Just go on Glassdoor, type in the company and read a few reviews about them. You can kind of get a sense of like what the company culture is, because employees believe in some tea. Okay, so go read it and see, like, is this what I'm looking for? Blah, blah, blah. Do your research. I already knew that I would never go to a company that didn't value culture and didn't have a good working environment. So those were my priorities. I really reflected on that. And I knew that in my next gig, I was going to be very selective in like the company I would choose to work for. So do that. Take the time to like prioritize what you want in your next gig, and also take the time to reflect on what you want to do next. Sometimes we've been doing some things for so long that we feel like that's just what we want to do, but actually take the time to realize and think that, do I actually want to do this? Do I want to explore another area? Do I want to explore another industry? Take the time, because there's no point quitting a job and just rushing back into any gig. It really defeats the whole point, because now you'll probably be in a worse situation than you were before. Maybe you may be lucky and be in a better situation, we don't know, but you may end up being in a worse situation. You may end up not liking the job. It may end up being toxic again. If you don't do those reflections and decide what's important to you in your next gig, you may find yourself in this situation again. So just take the time and reflect. My number 5 is tap into your network. I was listening to a podcast by a company the other day. Well, not the other day, it's been months now. And basically the person in charge of recruiting is like, the best way to get into like those spaces that you want to get to is through personal network. Like most times companies don't really go for not all the time, of course they do, but sometimes more than before, more than usual, they really go through like referrals. And they appreciate referrals as well. They don't necessarily always go through the traditional route of like on a job site and then you put a CV and all that stuff. Sometimes they really appreciate and they value referrals, and that you can only get those through your personal network. And that's how I actually got my second gig, because I told my friend, I was like, I know your company, I've done a bit of research, it seems like a company culture that I'm into, it seems like this is happening, they also have this position, can you referred me, got the job in a month, honestly. And that's how you should probably also navigate your next gig, and tap into your personal network. It's okay to tell your friends and family that you're in the market trying to find a gig. Like, there's no shame in it. Don't ever feel embarrassed to say, oh, I can't tell people that I don't have a job. And then what? Your job doesn't define you. So you can be open and tell people. You don't know who's listening. You don't know the friend of a friend that works somewhere that can refer you. So tell people. Go on LinkedIn. Who have you worked with in the past that you actually liked? Some of your previous like co-workers, your managers that you actually got along with, message them. What gigs do you guys have in your new role, in your new company? I think that's really the best way to secure a good gig, a really good gig. Actually, I think that's the way to know the ins of a company rather than relying on like just a job site. So definitely tap into your personal network for like your next job. Number 6 is enjoy the process. This is my final tip. Enjoy the process. There will be 100% times where you may even cry. It's okay to cry. You may get into it and be like, what have I done? Why did I leave this job? At least they were paying me. You would have those moments that you want to cry, you're anxious, people are irritating you, like you're just not the best version of yourself. It's okay. It's 100% okay, and it's part of the process. I know I cried several times, but even though I cried, I know deep down in me that I would rather be crying than to be in this situation, because I chose myself. So it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel the way you feel. It's okay to be scared. Just know it's fine, and that's part of the process. And also, I think the way to realize is, number 1, you would get a job. You would 100% get a job. Please look at me and just know that it's a job. It's not some crazy thing that you're trying to find. It's actually a job, and the employers finding employees every day. It may take longer than you thought, but you will find a job. Just know that. And also know that this time that you have to wake up on a Tuesday, anytime you want, to go to the gym, take a walk, do whatever you want, this time is so precious that even if you get your dream job, you will still look back at this time and be like, oh boy, did I have free time. You will still look back, even if it's the most amazing job you secure, you will still look back and be like, I had so much time. What a great time. Don't waste it. Actually enjoy it. Don't waste it the whole time panicking about your next position. At the end of the day, it's just a job. And I can say it's just a job. I know it pays your bills. I know that. But at the end of the day, it's actually a job, and you're going to get a job. But this time that you have, you won't always have it. So lean into it, enjoy the ups, enjoy the down. You're going to doubt yourself, you're going to question it, you're going to have days where you're just like so excited about your decisions, and some days you're going to be like, oh boy, what did I do? Enjoy that process, and honestly, by the time you come out of it on the other side with this amazing gig that you get, or maybe you don't even go back to job, maybe you decide to be a freelancer, maybe you decide to start your own business, whatever happens out at the other side of this will be amazing. And I cannot wait to see your comments below on like how you transitioned, what's happening. And honestly, I really hope this has been a useful video for you. And yes, I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.